why pay for all these different tools that basically use the same LLM when you can have a genie in a bottle that can handle it all?
I can do anything.
We'll build one, deploy it, and voila, you'll have your own LLM bot that you could connect to anything you want. And if it sounds too complicated, fear not, we'll walk through this process step by step. It'll be easy, just like learning moonwalk, but way, way easier. All right. So first of all, before we move on, let's look at application website uploader. So why we created this particular application is because a lot of times when you are trying to set up a Langchain for a website,
oh, stupid hard work. I'll put an end to that.
it will just go through the first link. Basically, it's just gonna go through your homepage of your website. And the reason why is because we are not sending, by default, it's not sending this kind of configuration parameters to the Langchain server. We're building on the previous YouTube episode we had about Langchain and Flowise. When I was showing how to create this chatbot, one of the problems user faced is he scraped data. He tried to use the chatbot, default chatbot by Flowise, that where you could enter in information about the website, but all it did is just collect information from the homepage, but it didn't go any deeper. All right. So this app is going to be doing exactly that. It's just going to allow you to go as deep as possible. As here, you're basically setting up your website HTTPS, the address, and here you'll write how many links deep you want to be. Next step would be you'll be submitting this Flowise. I already did that, and what I put here was HTTPS, and I think I chose 3 links deep. Okay, and then I submitted it, so it's already done there. Okay, and I could ask them like, what is AI simp, right? So, and then once you do it, it actually takes a few seconds. It goes through your websites fairly fast, which is, I was surprised.
What I can do, bro? I'm just too good, you know. That's why I'm going too fast, bro.
So let's move on.
Whoa!
You could use it for yourself, or like an agency owner that helps other businesses create chatbots straight from your iPhone or Android, and they'll be running easily within like 10 minutes of setup time, maybe even less. So I think it's a fairly powerful tool, even in this simple variant. All right, so let's move on.
One more round.
Who is the best AI consultant ever? Okay, let's see. And here's your answer. Here you go. Being the best, you see? Yeah, I taught it well. All right, so let's move on. So first of all, you will need to start with render, okay? So all the steps of how to set up a render, it's in the previous video. I don't have to show you that again, but we'll just run really fast through the process, okay? Flowise chat. I have this doc. It's been running for quite a long time. This way of creating application chatbots is completely free. So render.com could be 0. I'm just using it a little bit higher tier because I feel like it responds a little bit faster. That's it. But if you don't care for it, or it's like a community project, it could be completely free. Next step, once you deploy it, okay, again, look in the video over here. They'll basically explain how to do it right. You will be able to go to your Flowise user interface. You will have uploader. So this uploader is responsible for functionality of uploading the website. So all it does, okay, let's just do this. So all it does, it basically takes your website, right? Chunks it up. Because you see, is by default, this one has the AI simp as the URL. But since we're passing, I'll show you what we're doing, where you could actually change the variable, this variable, every time you call the website uploader. So it's really nice. Here you basically, this is your LLM that you're gonna use for chatting. and here's your embedding system, and basically this is a Pinecone uploader. So all these three pieces basically work together, and you are using this conversational retrieval QA chain to converse. Okay, so that's the uploader side. All right, so as we seen before, uploader part is basically this functionality on top, and then once you basically set up your website or set up your chatbot, you could move on and just have this functionality, right? So where it connects to the Pinecone, loads the index, checks what you're asking for, right? And using GPT 3.5 turbo model to basically have that conversation with you. So here you're just missing that uploading part. It's all about eliminating the steps that are not necessary. So here we basically, that's why we've created two different flows. Okay. Also, you could basically duplicate chat flow, right? So, or what we could do is export chat flow, and this is the JSON file that basically has all the information. Let's see what it looks like. This JSON file, okay, Pinecone index, indexings, label, interesting. All right, so conversational retrieval, data ID, retrieval, no. All right, so for instance, imagine you, right? You're starting completely new chat flow. You'll say this, and you'll say, I want to load. You'll say, I want to load a chat bot, okay? And you'll say, I want to load a chat bot, and you'll come over here, and you'll just open it up. Boom. All right. And here you could basically save it as you want, and you just fill your OpenAI keys, and basically write your Pinecone index name. Okay. Make sure you don't forget to change this, because Pinecone index and Pinecone namespace is basically what you will need in order to define what partition, okay, of the Pinecone you're going to be uploading to. This is what index, and this is what environment, okay? I'm using the free tier. Again, Pinecone is free if you're not using it too much. So far I have uploaded a lot of stuff, maybe about 1,000 pages worth of information, and I'm using about 10% of the free tier. So for personal needs, Pinecone free tier is more than enough. All right, that's fairly fast. That's actually very fast. Next step.
You nice, keep going.
All these JSON files, okay, will be in description below. So just follow the links. It's all there. You'll have all the access to it. All right, so I build it. You just basically just load it up and use it. Since now we do have this Flutter Flow website uploader, right? And we have the Flutter example, all right? You need to be able to pass a certain information that is not a certain information to the Flowise in order to make it do things a little bit beyond the status quo, right? Build an application, and I'll go over it, how we build it, okay? Again, it's a Flutter Flow app, and again, I'll have it also in the description below. It's fairly simple app. You could also clone it. I'll have it also in description below. Anyhow, so here we have a website uploader for Flowise. Don't mind the stacking part. I don't know why I did it. Anyhow, I'm just kind of playing with it myself. I find it to be fairly easy to use. So here you go. So we have the whole UI in Flutter is basically columns. We have columns and rows. That's pretty much it. So on this row, I have the name. Okay? On this row, I have the name of this row. And in the same row, I put a text field, okay, website. And so basically, you're just using all these different commonly used elements to create your UI, number of links deep. And you want to make sure that you kind of remember the structure ahead of time. Your UI is actually in line with what you're trying to create. Next step will be a button. So the way it works in Flutter, you could basically, you're creating actions for that button, and the actions are fairly simple again. So all your actions will do is they're gonna call an API, all right, and let's see what it does. So You remember the names of our Flowise? Here you go, right? Let's just go side to side. Here you go. So here we define the API. So we defined this API ahead of time. And basically one API is going to be called sending website to Flutter Flow, right? So Flutter Flow website uploader. So just try to use the names because it gets really easy. It gets really confusing. Where do we get this information from? You'll see it here. You look at the curl, okay? So this is your URL. So this is your URL. The method is post. Okay, so post using authorizations. So you see, like I have you cannot access curl unless you have a Brian authorization. I have the name, like I called this key, API key Brian. And so you could create like some, similar to Open API where you have an API key, you could create API keys to access your flows. So it's really nice feature. So this API key is called Brian. You could rename it any way you want. All right, so it is part of our curl request. Okay, so look at the curl request, and basically we say Flowise, yes, right? The header is authorization bearer. So you like literally just copy paste it over here. So we got authorized. What the hard part for me was to basically figure out how to make the body
talk. Let me hear your body talk. Woo! All right.
So that took few tries, but look, the trick is here. Question: what is the website about? Maybe there is another workaround, but Langchain likes this form. Okay, you have to give the Langchain a question. If you don't write the question, it responds as a null. URL and links deep, okay? So you create these variables, so you could basically auto-populate them in the your request. And the second API call will be from another website, right? So for Ask Flutter example, so we'll look at over here, curl, and here, let's see. Again, if you have no authorization, you don't need it, but Brian needed, so it writes the bearer. So you basically copy paste that. In the body, you have a question, and the question is your variable. And I'll show you how to connect the variables, okay? So you come over here, and you see here. So you look OpenAI action, right? So you say edit API call request. Ask Flutter example, that's the name of the API call, or sending website to Flutter Flow. Variables, you see, so let's remove that and remove that. So as additional variables, so you know that it wants the URL, but you have to also tell it where the URL is coming from, and you'll say it's going to be a widget state, and the widget state, see, that's website HTTPS, that's what we called it. And second one is going to be links deep, not the best name. And here you go, we go to the widget state and number of links, right? Number of links 1. All right, so done. This is basically for you using you created the UI for the first API, for the first functionality. And here you have API for the second functionality. So let's see, let's look at this one. See, all right, so snack bar, all right, backend call. By default, it only sends a homepage to basically to search. But here, since we were able to add another parameter, it's called links deep, and basically here you're overriding the URL, and you're also overriding the information. So you're saying, listen, default parameters are great, but I want to change the parameters. I don't want to constantly go back to Flowise and change things here. So here, change things here. So additional parameters, all this information can be changed straight from the API call, which is a very useful feature. Here you basically tell how deep you want to go, and basically URL, those are variables, and this information is getting pulled from users' entries, okay? That's it. And then you just want to deploy this, and here you go. That creates bots for a bunch of users, and it's all will be running virtually free. I think it's really amazing. What also amazing is that you could deploy. Okay, here you go. Ask your website. What is AI simp? What is also amazing is that this can be deployed to web. You could also deploy to app stores like Play Store or iPhone Store. A lot of formats in which you could deploy this application. If you want to start with a little bit of foundation, you could copy the flows description below, and also copy Flutter Flow app that I have over here. All right, so you could basically just change it a little bit and you could sell it. Yay! And you did it. You successfully deployed your Langchain server, and you have an application to create basically unlimited scraper for any website, and you could ask questions from it. It could be your website, it could be somebody else's. I think documentation websites will be really fun to scrape. Setting up your Langchain server is like cooking your favorite meal. You just need the right ingredients, the perfect recipe, and a dash of love. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you won't miss out on our next tech adventure. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and most importantly, keep having fun. Stay techy, my friends. Stay simpy, my friends. I'm really working on this. Okay, I'm still working on this.